Welcome, nerds, to another episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm one of your co-hosts today, Darren Stemple. Back on the rundown this week is my co-pilot, Eric Hare.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Don't trust
my man, Steve Buscemi. Our co-hosts today are Big Morg 3000, Morgan Santo.
Hi.
And making her return is Megan Bradbury. Welcome back, you big nerds.
Hey.
That's we just get a little hey.
That's all I got.
That's all. That's good. Good. Per the usual, you can find us on our social media platforms like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the Nerd Rundown. And while you're there, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I do have to admit that you guys are doing a pretty good job at that. We got some of the most likes we've ever gotten on YouTube over the last couple of weeks. So thank you, and please keep doing it.
People are finally recognizing my talent.
I think it's because you stop saying smash the like button, which I'm
like the like button.
Tickle it.
Click it.
Tickle it. Yeah.
Do whatever you need to do in order to
get that like button.
To get it up. Get that thumb up.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not gonna be one of those.
Don't do whatever you got to do to get up. Don't listen to that.
That's a lady on the show. Well, nerds, we have a fantastic show for y'all today, starting with the rundown covering some of the biggest nerd news from the past week. And then we'll open up the nerd box and answer your questions. So first on the rundown, maybe one of the bigger stories we're going to cover for a while, the Doctor Strange 2 trailer officially released during the big game, during the Super Bowl. And gentlemen and lady, I have some thoughts. So let's get to them. But first, my man Morgan, on the Easter eggs and the theories, you're like my guy that I know I can talk to. I know you watched some Easter egg videos this week.
I do. I like to watch some stuff.
What was the best Easter egg you saw?
I
know you're excited.
Can I go theory? I'm more excited about a theory that I heard.
Okay, go ahead.
Anything else?
Go ahead. Yeah. We love the
and Stemp, I know I talked to you. You're going to remember the guy's name. Please say, because I can never remember. But the theory is that we all know in the trailer, we hear Charles Xavier, well, the actor at least. We there's no confirmation that it's Professor X.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
James.
Thank you. And then, he says, we got to tell him the truth, something along the lines of that. So his theory is that it's basically been a House of M situation, which is where Wanda, who we know can alter whatever she wants, basically makes it so mutants never existed in the world and everybody was fine with it. So their theory is that maybe that's what's going on here, and that's what the plot of this is, and it's really Scarlet Witch, that's kind of like the big bad of it, and it's because of, again, what she's done with the whole bending of reality, and that's how we get the mutants back.
I really like that theory as well. I think it's really strong I think this is going to be a movie that sets up mutants for sure. I like a new Rockstars has an Easter egg video where they theorize that it's an House of M's kind of storyline where she creates this reality, and at the end, instead of saying no more mutants like she did in the comics, which got rid of mutants, or like the vast majority of mutants, she's going to say let there be mutants, so that her kids who are mutants in the comics can become a real thing. Yeah. A real boy, as Pinocchio would say. So I'm really interested to see how they tie that whole story into this movie. There is a little Easter egg even for the House of M storyline. On the comic cover, it's Wanda saying, her big line. It doesn't say it like in a thought bubble or anything, but that in the comic book, that's what the page that it's on. Anyway, she says it, and people like turn into boxes, like mutants, instead of dusting, they boxed away. And so there was a little Easter egg where you can see that happening to Doctor Strange in the trailer. I thought it was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing that was probably revealed was Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier from the original X-Men storyline. Meg, is that something that kind of caught your attention in the trailer? Are you a big original X-Men trilogy fan?
My husband and I were watching it shortly before we logged on, and I was like, that sounded like Professor X. So yeah, that definitely caught my attention.
Nice.
My general question for the whole trailer, though, was like, what is even going on? Like, there was so much. And did I see that? I don't think it's the same. It's not the same actor, but I wondered if it was the same character from the guy from Loki. At the He Who Remains or whatever.
Yeah,
it looked like a similar character, and I wasn't sure if that was who that was or what. Like I said, what is even going on? There was so much in that trailer.
Yeah, a lot of really amazing scenery just chewed up in that whole trailer. I mean, some of the things that we saw, multiple Doctor Stranges, multiple Wandas. I mean, it's a world building movie. It is what this Doctor Strange movie is, which gets me so excited, because if a movie's not tied into a larger universe, or at least a superhero movie isn't tied into a larger universe, I don't have as much.
Right.
I feel like it hype for it. So I'm really excited to see how this builds out the MCU, what it does, the ramifications of playing with time and the multiverse. I think even somewhere, I think it was Wanda who said, she talked to Vision, and he had theories about the multiverse and it being dangerous. So, I mean, Eric, I know you're not a big comic guy, but big MCU guy. Where's your hype meter on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's probably at an 8. A 7 or 8.
Loki bunny range.
This is, I mean, I think
getting up there. It's getting up there.
Yeah. I'm anxiously awaiting how they do this multiverse stuff. I'm very curious how they're going to do the multiverse stuff without losing a lot of people, and people are going to be like, I have no idea what's going on. So we'll see how they manage to balance it. Hopefully they're clear about, who, and it seems, at least from the Doctor Stranges that I saw in the trailer, that you're clearly going to be able to tell the difference between one variant of Doctor Strange to the other variant of the Doctor Strange. And then probably the same with Wanda, at least hopefully with Wanda or whoever the villain's going to be and all that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But visually it looks spectacular. I love the temple scene where there's a bunch of guys out there with like the Minotaur was out there. That dude looks amazing. And that cloud rolling in is pretty cool. And I'm going to butcher his name, but I think it's Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think is his name.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Ejiofor. Okay. So I knew I was going to butcher it, but that dude, I love just about everything that dude's in. Like, no matter what he does, I'll immediately sit up and be like, okay, he's going to do a fantastic job. So how that's going to work out. The Professor X stuff was super cool because that was my first real foray into, and I think a lot of people's foray into comic book movies. You have the Spider-Man stuff and you've had the Batman movies, but like the X-Men were like the first like series, like trilogy of, it's like, okay, the first one was so good. We want to keep telling stories in that universe. So bringing those guys back into the fold, I think is going to be great. At least I hope so. However they do it, whether it's Morgan's theory or if they figure out some other clever way to bring them in, I think that'll be pretty cool, because I think now that Hugh Jackman's moved on from the Wolverine character, we'll be able to see somebody else. Hopefully they'll give your main man Cyclops, a fair shake, is supposed to get. So
do justice.
Yeah. So I think it looked pretty spectacular. Bill in the group chat was like, he's
zombies.
I think he's like way off the chart. Bill,
he's excited.
Those billboards, like way excited for this. So
love it.
Shout out to Bill on that one. Like we're
definitely gonna have to have him on the review
for sure.
Yeah, he's fun.
Sure. Yep. So yeah, I think it looks cool.
Here's
Meg,
some. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask Meg, like you said earlier that you and your husband watched the trailer, like other than the Professor X moment, what was another like cool, like what during the trailer was like a cool moment that you thought or that made you be like, oh, that looks
the box thing, the box face thing really stood out to me. It reminded me a little bit of Inside Out when they go into like the whatever that was, the subconscious or whatever.
Right, abstract thought.
And I was like, what is even going on right now? But that part definitely stood out. It looked so cool.
Yeah.
What an underrated movie Inside Out is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that makes me
cry.
The angry guy is so funny. Oh yeah. It's so emotional. Here's some crazy highlights from the trailer. And I do subscribe to the theory that Wanda will be the eventual big bad in this movie because there's a lot of hints that she's going through the multiverse to find her kids. And so she gets Doctor Strange to somehow open up the multiverse. And then it'll be kind of a race through the multiverse to stop Wanda from finding her kids. And then the Illuminati steps in, headed by Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier from the original X-Men movies, and 5 other important people throughout the multiverse. We got some hints through a poster that maybe Captain Carter could be in there. In the trailer, you see what looks to be a Captain Marvel variant, or Captain Marvel herself, or Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, or it could be a superior Iron Man variant. And
Tom Cruise.
Rumors that it could be Tom Cruise, which I don't believe that. I
heard it could be Kang as Iron Lad.
I was going to say, I think my favorite theory is that it's Kang as Iron Lad. And so, as you know, Kang from the Loki show kind of became, of an important piece of the MCU future, and he's going to pop up in a lot of different places. And I think they show a younger Nathaniel Richards as Iron Lad. An incredible, like one of the good Kings variants of King. That's good. So it's really exciting, all of that. And then there was another thing I just thought about.
Zombies.
As far as the Illuminati goes, I mean, who else could be on that panel? I think that's going to be fun to theorize all the way up until we see it. But Loki himself, Tom Hiddleston's confirmed to be in this movie. He did not show up in the trailer. Right. So how is that going to affect him and season 2 of Loki? There's so many things about this trailer, and I just had a big one that I can't put my podcast brain on. But
I read somewhere that the rumor is Krasinski's in it.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Richards.
That's a big rumor.
Who's the character that he is? Because it's not who is it? Is it Reed Richards?
Yeah, Reed Richards. Yeah, Mr. Fantastic, the stretch.
It's going to be Glenn Howerton.
Been clamoring for. It's not going to be Glenn. No way.
It better want to be Glenn now.
Listen, if they want to make Glenn the future Reed Richards, I'm fine with that. If I get John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and that he's a variant of Reed Richards,
okay, I can go with that.
Then that opens the door both of them being Mr. Fantastic. But anyway, that was the one I was getting there with. Who else was on the Illuminati, and it could be. What did we just say? No, I know. John Krasinski, my main man. So, some very, very, very exciting things coming at your face in that trailer. Not to mention bad Doctor Strange from What If, a lot of imagery from What If in the Doctor Strange episode. I mean, really tying in that show with zombies, like you said. So very, very excited for that movie. I was hyped for it. I was ready for it. That trailer put it at number one for me on my, even above Batman. Now Batman comes out first, so it'll be easy to get over that. But that trailer was awesome. Love the world building. Mm-hmm. Any other last thoughts? Another Super Bowl commercial that we got during the Super Bowl, redundancy department. Yeah. Next on the rundown, we have the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power trailer released. We get our first official real live images, not just a still or a concept art, actual moving people in a trailer. Eric, what was your favorite part from seeing the world of Lord of the Rings come back to life?
Well, actually, that's actually what was my favorite part, was the world of the Lord of the Rings. Like, I mean, that was like, I think, I don't know what city it is, but when they're coming across the river and, the giant statue of the character is there. That's part of, I think, what makes Lord of the Rings and that whole world that Tolkien made just spectacular. Like just to be able to see these places and have them be like as spectacular in my, like, being able to see it as it was when I read the story. So so pretty amazing. Just really, really cool. I think it's going to be, the sets look amazing. All that stuff looks pretty cool. Character wise, I don't know what's happening there. I can never
Galadriel.
Galadriel.
I don't say it 3 times.
Yeah, right. I'm not sure what's happening with that character. Like, I don't like. They
does look like a young Galadriel. Yeah,
and like my understanding of the character from reading the books was that she was more of a, I wouldn't say a witch, but like a she's an elf, so she's
basically an angel is what she is. She's basically an angel.
Yeah, and so now she's like has a sword and she's like wearing armor and all that other stuff, and so maybe they're just combining maybe a couple of characters together just for time purposes or to kind of move the story forward. So, so that'll be kind of interesting to see how that happens. Yeah, I think so too. I think you get a lot of people who are pretty rabid about like staying true to the story as Tolkien wrote it, and I think that because that was one of the things that Peter Jackson did such a great job with was he kept it pretty true to the source material. So when your fan base is built on that and you start doing something different, it's a challenge. I mean, look at what happened to Cowboy Bebop. Not that they're on the same level, but I mean, Cowboy Bebop had a huge following and it fell totally flat because they did stuff that they probably should have done. So I don't know, Morg, what do you think?
And it does say Galadriel online that she is playing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but something seemed off and I couldn't put my finger on it. There's something about it seemed off and I don't know what. I couldn't tell you what it is.
Animated to you?
Yeah, like it just seemed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It seemed like too fake.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah. No, you know what I mean? Like, it's too
too good looking.
Right? Like, yeah.
Too ridiculously good looking.
So I don't know. Like, it's excited to see the Lord of the Rings world, but I'm still waiting for more. That was just a quick little teaser. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying not to get too excited about it.
Okay. Mike, did this raise your hype level for the show?
I mean, I'm not really into the Lord of the Rings too much. I love The Hobbit. Like, I read The Hobbit, love the book. but I never watched the movies. I tried reading the Lord of the Rings books, and I was one of those people that just couldn't keep the name straight.
Same.
And it seems like something because like I said, I loved The Hobbit. It seems like something I should be into, and I just couldn't get over that hump in the book. So I'm going to make an effort again. And if I can see those movies, at some point, that's on my list, but
I'm sorry. You haven't seen those movies yet?
I haven't. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen start to finish.
The Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy movies, not the new Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Wow.
I didn't know there was anybody left on Earth who had.
I just assumed everybody has watched it.
Yeah, that is a major assumption.
Little small corner of Louisiana is a pocket of people that
I came from Bradford County in PA. Okay, good to know. Very good to know about you, Meg. Definitely good to know. I'm not going to bring you on the Lord of the Rings episode.
No.
Yeah. So good. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Morgan. Like it has it's really good. It's like almost too good looking. But it is good to see the world of Lord of the Rings, Eric. I immediately was like, the first image as it went through that, I was like, yeah, it's good to be back, and I was like, Tony Stark, it's good to be back. And I was a little hesitant on, it's a young Elrond, it's a young Galadriel. And, from my limited Lord of the Rings knowledge, they're angels. And so I have a coworker, I'm going to bring him on for the Lord of the Rings episode. It's amazing listening to him talk about the Lord of the Rings and the entire history of Lord of the Rings. I just sit there at work yes, tell me more, please. But they're angels. They're like a ball of light before this, and then they became human-ish. It took human form, I should say. So I just figured they looked the same always, because even in the battle against Sauron, Elrond looks, like Agent Smith.
Right.
Credit to Morgan on that joke. But it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out on that show. Very, very, very interested to see it. I'll be looking out for every little update we get from that show. Next on the rundown, we have Loki season 2 details we have Loki season details with some actors and actresses confirmed to come back, and the directors. The directors are Marvel really likes their duo, directing duos. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who will be directing some upcoming episodes of Moon Knight, which we're excited to see, and The Twilight Zone a couple of years back with Jordan Peele. Interesting. Owen Wilson confirmed to be back. I knew I was going to forget her name. The lady who played Sylvie. Fantastic.
Lady Loki.
So, Lady Loki. Morgan, I'm not going to ask you about the OLBs, but Loki season 2, what do you expect to get out of Loki season 2?
What am I expecting out of it? I mean, I'm expecting it to be another fantastic season of a great show. I'm expecting we're going to get a lot of Kang stuff. I think Loki's going to be the biggest and most important thing in this upcoming phase with Kang. Because he's an inside man, essentially. He can hop back and forth between whatever he needs to. I think he's going to be huge with this, and I think it's going to be a lot of him trying to hunt down Kang and try to set some stuff right. That's what I'm expecting for season 2.
I like it. I'm really, really, really excited for it, Eric.
So you're saying Quantum Leap?
Yes. Hoping that next leap will be the leap home.
Oh, yeah.
He's familiar.
Oh boy.
I feel like I've seen this show before.
Got this. Donald P. Belisario writing, and
go ahead, Eric.
Well, Sophia DiMartino.
That's her name. Yeah,
is Lady Loki. So and she was so great in that first season. What a real treat and real surprise for her. She was really great. So I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect. I really don't. I was blown away with the first season. I really loved it. And I think Morgan's probably right. Of all the series out there, like I really enjoyed the Hawkeye series. I really loved that one. And I love that it's like a local, I always enjoy those local kind of superheroes, where they solve like a local problem, but Loki, I think, has got things on a whole different scale that are just, right. I mean, he's dealing with, he's going to leave the mugger to Spider-Man and to Hawkeye and
Daredevil.
He's dealing with some bigger problems. He's a really good lawyer. Daredevil's a really good lawyer. So,
really good lawyer.
He's a really good lawyer. So I think I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see where they go with season 2. I'm praying and hoping that at some point we get to see Owen Wilson on a jet ski. I think that would be.
I was waiting for that was going to be my question to Meg if you didn't say that.
That's what season 2 is going to be. Every episode is just him on a jet ski.
Basically, be a good lawyer like Matt Murdock and lead the witness here, Meg, into that. But Meg, what do you think about season 2 Loki?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. So I didn't know what to expect from the first season. Started watching it and it was so nerdy, but I loved it. And I love the humor in it. Tom Hiddleston he's just effortlessly funny. And so I'm definitely looking forward to season 2 for that. I love that little bit of humor that they are able to throw in there and not make it hokey and just keep it interesting. But it's super nerdy show.
Hell yeah.
But it's great. So I'm excited for the next season to come out.
So here's some interesting anecdotes. Number 1, Michael Waldron, head writer of season 1, not coming back as the writer. He wrote Doctor Strange. He was the writer for Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. He is coming back in some capacity as an executive producer for the show. So his brilliant mind was, there was a lot of coming out parties from Loki. You had the incredible director, Kate Herron. Her career is going to blow up now after directing the TV show. You might have to look this one up for me, Eric, but the composer, the music that came out of the show is some of the most popular MCU music out there, or just superhero music. Michael Waldron, another. And then, I think back to how great Owen Wilson was in this show. Mm-hmm. What a treat we got out of that. And then, like you said, effortlessly funny, Meg. Tom Hiddleston, one of his best scenes is the scene where he's describing the differences between astral projection and duplication. And when I think of
it's offended.
And the way you feel it's like total, a nerd correcting somebody saying, Batman, versus Superman, and then the nerd comes in and is like, oh, let me tell you the difference between Batman and Superman, And when I always think back to my neighbor Bryant going, what did you mean by that's the nerdiest TV show? And there's certain things that come out like that all the time. I'm like, that's why that was the nerdiest show.
Natalie Holt is the
Natalie
composer.
Holt. Yeah, oh, man, she lot of coming out parties and in a great way from that TV show. So looking forward to season 2. Speaking of season 2, we got Peacemaker season 2 confirmed, with James Gunn confirmed to write and direct every single episode. Eric, I know you haven't seen it. Season 1, when do you plan on watching it? And when we do, do you think we should do a review of the season 1?
Well, so I think I'm hoping to do it this week. Actually, we were talking about it before the show, but Book of Boba and Peacemaker are the two up next for me as far as series go. I watched Ozark season 4 this week with the wife and stuff. So I'll try to get working on those too.
Trudging through life over here.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's just hard. So
you got some homework to do, dude.
Yeah, I got some homework to do. So I actually will. Okay, so I follow this guy on Twitter who is an military aviation writer, but occasionally he'll throw out stuff, and so I will, and I think he's totally right, at least from what I've seen so far of James Gunn's work in the DC universe. But Tyler Rogaway, who is, like I said, is an aviation journalist, he tweeted out that James Gunn is to DC as Jon Favreau is to Star Wars, and he said, DC needed a Peacemaker really badly. He also said that Peacemaker was a real surprise, really enjoyed it. John Cena was all in, great cast, doesn't take itself too seriously, weird in a good way for being an experimental spinoff. It worked really well and will probably set up a whole cohesive DC TV universe and stuff. Enterprise is what he said. So having not seen it, I can't really comment on how the series has gone. However, I can say that the Suicide Squad, and specifically the Peacemaker character, was brilliant, and I enjoyed every second of him in that movie. And so however the series kind of plays out, I'm anxious to watch it. I really am. And now that it's completed, I can kind of binge it and stuff. And so I love the John Cena characters in the movie. So I'm hoping that it works out well in the series. But if it's as good as everybody says it is, and for James Gunn, I think the whole situation with the Guardians, really freed him up to do something better. I mean, he's still doing the Guardian stuff, but it
for a short time there,
he's got an opportunity to really put his fingerprints on the DC side of the house and really potentially change the whole direction for how that side of the shop goes. And I know a lot of us have been hard on DC and stuff, but man, wouldn't it be great if both Marvel and DC were really, really good all at the same time, and we could just get amazing content from both of the big, comic book houses, and so I feel like the competition, like Marvel has put so much pressure on DC, and they keep failing and they keep failing and they keep failing, that hopefully it has made them step up their game, and that they'll get there, and that, who knows, maybe they'll even pass, like they can make it so good that it even passes. Marvel. And so but they got a long way to go before they get there. Maybe Peacemaker, maybe Shazam, maybe Black Adam, maybe, the new Batman, maybe that gets them over that hump, and they can really start, banging out some really great content. So James Gunn he's got a great track record so far. So I think, we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to, I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to DC. I will continue to go back, and if they keep, let me down, I guess that's what it is, but we'll see. So
I feel you, dude. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, every DC thing I'm going to be into as well until I just can't, I don't know. I don't know when that will be, because every once in a while they bring out stuff like Peacemaker is really good. So, Mark, I know you've finished the season.
Yeah, I watched the season finale today.
What's this news do to you?
Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is what DC needs. They needed this to show, they can do it. And then I'm hoping it follows up with an amazing Batman movie. But nope, everybody should watch it. Eric, definitely hammer it out. It was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm not sure I've ever resonated with Eric more when he said, I'm glutton for punishment on DC. Like, that was, hit me right here. Yeah. Get me right here.
Because I'm going to watch them all. And
right here and right here. Right here.
Looks fine. Meg, you think you'll ever get into the Peacemaker show?
Like I said, it's going to just be the time and the streaming service. Because if we were, if I had more time to watch it and it was in the budget, we'd probably already have seen it. But so this summer, when I have hopefully I get my break, my 6-week break from work for summer break, and that's when I'll get some time to do it. But yeah, it's definitely something I would be interested in seeing. Yeah. So I'll one way or another, I'll get around to seeing it.
Let us know when you do, because we'd love to know what your opinion is. Next on the rundown, Amazon Prime Video sets summer premiere date for Chris Pratt-led action series. So it's a TV show, The Terminalist, based upon a book. I'm going to pass this right off to Eric. He's not only one of a fellow Chris Pratt fan, like basically everybody here and everybody in the world,
almost the whole world.
Sounds like you've even read the books, Eric.
I have read the first one, The Terminalist. I did read that one. So Jack Carr is the author. Jack is a former Navy SEAL. And so he's got a lot of experience. And then he's written a series of books. I think there's 4 in the series now, but he's written a series called, the first one's called The Terminalist. And it's with this character,
James Reese. And so, the whole premise to the first book, and I imagine the series will be that, he is I think he's a platoon leader or a task unit leader and his whole team is killed, including the rescue helicopter crew that comes in during an ambush. And then he gets out. And then on the day that he gets out, his whole family gets wiped out. And so initially he thinks that it's something, and then turns out it's some sort of, like treachery on our side. So there's people on our side that have actually done this whole thing. And so he creates this list of people that need justice brought to them. And so it's terminally. Yes, a terminal list.
Is this a terminal list or Punisher?
Yes, it's very Punisher-esque. It's very Punisher-esque and everything. Jack Carr's a cool dude. I've watched him on a lot of YouTube videos. He's a super, super cool dude.
And you said he was a Navy SEAL? Is that what you said?
He was, yes. Yep. He was a team guy. And so he got a lot of experience, brings a lot of that, real world experience to the writing and stuff like that. And so he does a pretty good job of making you feel like you're in the action. So cool. So it's not, we're not talking literature that, that's gonna
hanging it in the Louvre.
Yeah. So it's a fun book. It was a fun book to read. And Chris Pratt as Reese is going to be friggin' amazing, just Chris Pratt. And it's, like I said, it's very Punisher-esque. So it's going to be kind of cool to see Chris Pratt in that particular style. And we'll see how he kind of lassos in the sense of humor, because it's not like the character doesn't have a sense of humor, but not quite Chris Pratt's sense of humor. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I am like off the chart excited for this. I know that like the Doctor Strange and all that other stuff is kind of higher on the list for most people, but of all the things that we've talked about this week, that this particular one is actually going to be my favorite, along with the next couple things that we talk about, but this one for sure has been my favorite. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm right there with you, brother. This thing was, when I saw this, I was like, I get to watch Chris Pratt for more than an 2-hour movie. Hell yeah. If this is a weekly release, that'd be cool. I think Amazon does all at once.
Yep. No, they do. I think they do theirs week at. Oh, maybe they
mix it.
I think they mix it up because like Reacher's all out there.
Reacher all? Okay. Yeah. I thought with Jack Ryan, it was a weekly with Jack Ryan though, wasn't it?
And I think it was weekly for the
so
boys.
Freaking long since we had that show. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think you're right, Meg, with the boys too. I think that was a weekly one.
Oh, too. Boys is definitely. Boys is definitely a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they mix it up.
So I think with their higher ones, they want to stretch that out.
Listen, I've really enjoyed the week release of things. Really enjoyed it. The way it builds yourself up over the course of the week in anticipation. Mm-hmm. I would prefer that. Because once the season's done, then you can freaking binge it again, if all at once if you want. Anyway, I'm super excited for this. Meg, I know you're a massive Chris Pratt fan. Mm-hmm. What are you most excited to see in this show? Other than Chris Pratt's abs,
of course, and just him kicking ass. I'm good with that. I really like seeing him in a non-Andy Dwyer. Star-Lord, role. Like, I mean, he's hilarious and I love that he's hilarious and I want him to be funny, but I kind of just want to see him kicking some ass. And I love those kind of revenge roles and it's going to be really cool to see him in that.
I'm really excited. It does have some, like Eric said, some Punisher-esque ness to the storyline. Mm-hmm. A little bit, maybe Jack Reacher too, just getting revenge. Morgan, is this something that?
I mean, I don't have much thought about it.
Get your little LB going.
I don't have much thought about the show. I mean, it's Chris Pratt, so I'll watch it. That's it. But we'll see. I want to see like a trailer or something before I can really be excited.
Okay.
I don't think the budget for it was quite $1 billion, like for the Lord of the Rings, but we'll see.
They're like, sorry, you guys can't have lunch today. We got the Lord of the Rings.
We made the Lord of the Rings show. Sorry, guys.
Goddamn hobbits,
Need extra hair for their feet.
They're always eating all those meals.
Holy cow. That was a good one. Can't wait for that show. July 1st. We have till July 1st, right? July 1st. Yeah. So quite a bit of time before we can get your hype meter going for that one, Morgan. Next on the rundown, finally have a little bit more Stranger Things season 4 news with the release of the premiere date. And we get 2 actually premiere dates. So we're going to have a Ozark season 4 thing. Yeah. We get volume 1. Volume 1 is coming May 27th. We don't know how many episodes that is. It could be 7 like with Ozark. It could be 5 because they do 10 episodes per season usually. But volume 2 is then coming July 1st. So a little bit different thing, things going on in Netflix where they're trying this new break it up into 2 parts, a season thing. Don't know if it's working because I just want the rest of Ozark season 4. But interesting news coming out about Stranger Things 4. Meg, are you pumped for some Stranger Things in your life?
I am so pumped. I've been going through withdrawal, and when I first, like every time I finished like a season of it, I would have to run and I'd look up like whatever books I could find that were similar in that kind of genre. So I read a lot of Stephen King after that. But we are going to be that it's going to be queued up as soon as it comes out. My husband and I absolutely love that show. And, it pulls in that great nostalgia feeling, from the 80s, and I just absolutely love it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. We'll be watching it as soon as it comes out, binging it.
Yeah. I feel like it's been just a lifetime since we got the last Stranger Things. More. Yeah. What do you think?
I agree. It feels like it's been forever, but I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see. I'm not a fan of this whole splitting up the final season crap. Like, That's just stupid. Like, quit doing that. Like, why?
Might as well
because
just
you
do
don't
a
want to say you have 5
point.
seasons, you want it to be even at 4, like, come on. So that annoys me, but at least it's not too far. You said what, May and then July, so at least that's not too awful of a wait time.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I want to see how it ends, what they do, where some people ended up, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, when they originally show came out, I remember them saying that they had a 5-season arc. And I'm wondering if season 4 being broken up into 2 parts is that 5-season arc, because they're like, these kids are growing and they're going to be adults by season 5 or something, So I don't know if that's their way of maybe just speeding up the timeline a little bit. But Eric, is this something? This is probably too scary for Jackson, right? I know he watches some big ass monsters eating each other, but this might be too much.
Yeah, we haven't done the Stranger Things yet with the kids. So, but Stacy, well, with the little ones, the older girl, Lexi, she really dug. She literally binged the first 2 seasons in like a day. Like she just like locked herself in her bedroom and watched both seasons of the show before the 3rd season came out. And then I think she had the 3rd season watched like the night it came out. She had it all done like that night. And I was like, holy smokes, she loved it. So yeah. Right. So it was, I love the show. I'm really looking forward to it. I think you're correct in your assessment that, those kids are only getting older, so you got to try and get it done when you can. But I think that window of time is kind of closing, at least on those particular characters. So, but yeah, so we'll see. I'm curious to see what happened with David Harbour's character.
Oh boy.
And I'm interested to see if I think what's his name is coming back. From the first season.
The Papa.
Yeah, Papa. Matthew Modine. Matthew Modine. So beat you to it. No Googling. So yeah, Matthew Modine. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm loving it. So.
In the meantime, while you're waiting for the season to come out, check out the book, The Institute, by Stephen King. It's I feel like all of his books just have it's like the whole book is really good, but every Stephen King book, the ending is just kind of like but the rest of the book is really good.
I still need to get to R.L. Stein's collection. So goosebumps.
Stephen King inspired season 1. Steven Spielberg inspired season 2. John Carpenter in the 80s horror movies really inspired season 3. Really excited to see what influences season 4 at part 1 and 2. Yeah, it does. Let's finish off the run. Yeah, Wes Craven. I was trying to remember the other name, John Carpenter or Wes Craven. Finishing off the rundown, we have a trailer rundown. Got, again, some big game spots. And then throughout the week, got some really great trailers. First trailer up on the trailer rundown, The Contractor movie with Chris Prime. Yeah. This is Chris Pine's variant. Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Kiefer Sutherland, very much in the vein of what seems to be maybe kind of like a Terminalist type movie. Former soldier going out and kicking ass for the government. The government's corrupt. So almost heard that story before, but I'll watch these kind of movies every single time.
Yeah.
Yep. I know you're excited for this movie.
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked bonkers. Bonkers good. Like I was like, oh, this is great. And I mean, the first thing out of my mouth was, oh, sweet, it's Chris Pine and Chris Pine. Chris Pine.
That's there's another variant.
Chris Optimus Prime.
Number 4. Isn't Chris Pine the number 4 Chris in the deal? Because it's Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, and Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
Like the four Chris's.
He gets kicked out first every time.
Every time. So I think it's the Star Trek bias that's there. But
I'm really glad I missed that I'm mad I missed that part on the nerd debates back a few episodes with you. I was listening. I was like, I really love Chris Evans, but man, do I love me some Chris Pratt. And Chris Evans was really gold in everything he does. I was just listening to that conversation, having it in my head with you guys.
It was a lot of fun. But Chris Pine and Ben Foster back together. They were in Hell or High Water. From the creator of Yellowstone and 1883 and all that stuff. So
I think Michael Waldron co-wrote that movie too, actually. No,
oh, did he? Okay, yeah. Maybe. So those two dudes together, and then you add in Kiefer Sutherland. I'm in the spot. My butt's going to be in the seat, so I'll be watching. Mm-hmm. I'll be watching that one. So, yep.
Oh yeah, Meg.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Chris Pine. I feel like it was the first Star Trek movie that I had seen, maybe with him in it or something. And I mean, he's quite nice to look at, and if he's going to be kicking ass, I'm going to be watching it.
He's handsome.
I guess we should ask you, Meg, who's your favorite Chris?
Yeah.
I guess I would have to probably say Pratt, then Hemsworth, then Evans, and then Pine.
Interesting.
Yep. Pine comes in last every
single time.
I really like him, but yeah, he's
he's great. He really is.
Still in the top 5. He's still in the top 5 of the top 4 Chris's.
Yeah, you know, because I mean, there's other Chris's, right? And when you say the best Chris, we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah, right. You type in Chris on, IMDb, all the Chris's that come up. Actually. It looks like it's random. Anyway, Chris Klein's number 1 from American Pie. I hate that guy. Anyway, Morgan.
Chris Klein.
Contractor.
That looked really good.
Chris Pine correctly?
That trailer with Chris Pine was much better than I
ding ding ding
anticipated. No, it looked really good. I like Ben Foster, and of course we got Kiefer Sutherland doing his 24 thing. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's a classic tale that I will always watch, no matter how many times they do it, like you said.
Yeah, that classic tale. Old classic government's corrupt tale.
The old classic government's corrupt tale.
The next trailer was an Elvis biopic or biopic. Is it myopic because it's a music opic?
Biopsy.
Opic? Whatever. Yeah. Biopsy. We've got movies like the
it was
Queen
benign.
Movie, Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen movie, the Elton John one, Taron Egerton. I feel like there was one other one out there now, and then also now we're getting an Elvis.
Never Stop, Never Stopping.
With a fat, not Elvis, not fat Elvis. We get a fat Tom Hanks.
I couldn't tell if he was like really fat or if it was a fat suit, but
it's a suit.
Yeah. It's a suit.
I started watching the trailer and I'm like, I bet they made him fat because he played Forrest Gump, and in Forrest Gump, gave Elvis all the moves. His moves. I'm like, are people going to be able to discern that Forrest Gump isn't in this movie?
Yeah, I'm going to be really upset if he doesn't run into Forrest Gump.
Yeah, they had that scene with the kid, and I think that's what it made me think of that. He was just like kind of like doing that thing, and I was like, man, that reminded me of that scene in Forrest Gump. But I don't know. What do you guys think, Eric?
You know what? I'm not a music fan like that. I do like Elvis. I like a lot of his music and stuff like that. So I probably won't see this till it comes out on streaming, and then I'll probably watch it because my wife will probably want to watch it. But I mean, it looked good. The kid who plays Elvis looks like he's a pretty good actor. I don't know who that is, but so we'll see.
I definitely thought you were going to say something else, because there was a conversation between Meg and I before this that. Meg, you want to say, you want me to say it?
I don't like his face.
Wow.
Like his face.
And I have no reason. I mean, I don't know.
It struck me as a weird face. And I was like, they did not.
There's lots of people in my life. I don't like their face either. I'm like, you know what?
True.
Like, I like you as a person, but
I hate your face.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think I've seen him in anything else, so I can't. Yeah. Maybe his face is different in other movies, but there was just something. It was the expression on it, maybe, or something. I don't know. It just
everywhere he goes, he's got the same face. It's just.
Yeah. I watched it. I watched the trailer. I was like, this guy does not look like Elvis, and it's like off-putting how.
Yeah, it's just.
Do they have like eyeliner on it to make his eyes look? I don't know.
I don't know. His
face looks so much skinnier than what Elvis has, like a block face, you know, and this guy's face is skinnier than mine. I don't know. It's freaking weird. I don't know. I almost called you Elvis, Morgan.
All right.
Elvis, what do you think?
Bearded Elvis.
Put that peanut butter like it's gonna be.
We got the king on the show tonight.
I mean, it looks like it's gonna be good. It cracks me up watching the stuff of those where like. Just seeing how audiences would freak out about him. And, you know, in the trailer, when he comes on stage and some dude's like, get a haircut, everyone's like, ah. And then he like moves his leg to the right and the girls just lose their shit, right? Like they're all just screaming. And all he did was like move his leg. Like,
yeah. He's like the OG panty dropper. Just like women are like, you know, watching him.
Over Elvis.
Right.
I don't know.
It looks like it'll be good. I think it'll be a good movie.
Home watch for sure. Like that's something you wait for.
Yeah.
I have no desire to see that in theater.
I will not be getting a babysitter to go see it.
I'm not wasting $50 on you. Sorry.
Wearing his Captain Marvel shirt.
In a bit of a throwback to our Saturday morning cartoons episode, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. If they do not have the theme song in this movie, I will lose my shit. You throw another moon at me, I'm going to lose it. Maybe one of my favorite lines from that movie, from Infinity War.
Yes, Infinity War.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I thought the trailer actually was pretty entertaining. I think this could be a good movie for me to throw on a Friday night family movie night. Eric, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, agreed. The voice cast in this is off the charts, amazing.
Perfect. It's so perfect.
You got Will Arnett, who I love. One of my favorite and best all-time people in the world, Andy Sandberg. I just love Andy Sandberg. I just think like I look at Adam Sandler and then I look at Andy Samberg and I think these dudes are like the most brilliant comedy guys out there, and how, especially how they weave like music together. So when I saw that The Lonely Island was going to be on this, I was like, oh yes, that's gonna be so good. They
have never failed.
They haven't. They do a dynamite job with the music in a brilliant move. Everybody has a hard time with figuring out who Chip and who Dale is. So they made the characters one piece of animation so you can remember that this dude here is Chip. Yeah. And then they made the other one a completely different type of animation. So and I was like, that's freaking brilliant, man. So now that you can look at that and know who is who instantly, and you don't have to think about it. You go, well, which one has two teeth and which one, has a red nose, and you don't have to think about it. It's like, and I was like, that is a brilliant move by the Disney folks. So I did see an IMDb because I don't think during the trailer, maybe I missed it, but during the trailer, Eric Bana is Monterey Jack, which Monterey Jack. In the IMDb, he shows up as Monterey Jack, and with Rescue Rangers, Monterey Jack was always one of my favorites. With that accent. So I'm super.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing him in the trailer.
Yeah.
So maybe he's in there, and I just didn't hear it. But whatever.
Yeah, come out in the trailer had Roger Rabbit.
Maybe
that part I was blown away by.
Yeah, that was.
I love Roger Rabbit.
I mean, it's bonkers is one way to explain this trailer, and one bonkers meta thing that happened in this is Chip getting his Indiana Jones inspired costume. Yes. I mean,
when he runs through to grab a disguise and
genius. absolute genius. Yep. Meg, is this a Friday night family movie night for you or a babysitter movie?
So when I first saw that it was going to be a trailer, I thought, I don't want to like this. I don't know why I thought that, but I laughed out loud several times throughout the trailer, and I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to see it. I don't know if it's babysitter worthy, but we're definitely going to see it. I'm actively going to try to see it, but it looks really funny.
Absolutely. Morgan.
The Seth Rogen scene with
are you looking us in the eyes? I'm totally looking at you.
So funny. It looks exactly like a video game render.
Right. The dude walking into the fire hydrant right, and he's just walking in the fire hydrant. Walking into it. That's totally a video game.
It is such a good point, maybe. I didn't think they're bringing nostalgia is the thing, right? So here's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Oh man, perfect trailer. Morgan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think Carson's going to like it a lot. It'll be a good family movie. I think we're all going to laugh.
Yeah,
I look forward to watching it 85 times.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Please.
Still watching Encanto.
Replace Encanto.
All right.
We're still stuck on Frozen and Moana.
You know what? I would go back. I would go back to Moana or Frozen any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
If we could talk about
I don't have to hear Bruno.
All we could do is we could talk about Bruno. That would be
luckily Sing 2 is starting to kind of push its way into Encanto spot. But man, oh man. Fucking Encanto. All right, last
I did drop in a good transition. I did say Adam Sandler and Andy Sandberg are my favorites, so
I was gonna say, and last on the trailer rundown, like Eric said, we had a good team up between Andy Sandberg and Adam Sandler. I guess not a team up, but they've teamed up in movies before. But in this, transitioning to Adam Sandler's Netflix movie coming out called Hustle, basketball movie starring Juan Hernan Gomez, who you may not know unless you're a Denver Nuggets fan or a current Minnesota Timberwolves fan, but actual NBA player for the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Really good acting by him. It looks like in the for an athlete coming into his first role as an actor. He really looked great. And then Adam Sandler looks to be at the top of his drama game. I'm going to start with you, Meg. Is this a kind of movie that you're going to watch?
Yeah, if I had just been told, so there's this basketball movie with Adam Sandler, I probably would have said, hell no.
Water boy on the courts.
Because I don't buy him as an athlete, but he's obviously not in this movie. And I really want to see him in this kind of drama role. It looked really, really good. And when we got done watching the trailer, I'm like, I'm not a big sports movie person. And Johnny goes, no kidding. But this is definitely one I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, Adam Sandler's he's a big time baller. He's a really good athlete at basketball. He's a really good
basketball player. Surprisingly.
Yeah, Mark, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him in a basketball movie again. But, I think the last thing I saw him in was 8 Crazy Nights that involved basketball. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good, it's one of those I'm looking forward to it, but I know it's going to come out on Netflix. I'm going to forget about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those movies. It looks good, but I'm not I got to see this as soon as it hits Netflix. Yeah. And is this part of his Netflix deal?
Yeah.
So this is one of his 20 movies he's supposed to make.
Yep. So maybe he's ramping up to an Oscar win at the end or something.
That's what he's doing. I think it'll be good, Tom.
I agree. I think it'll be really good. Finish this off here on the rundown, Eric, my main man.
Yeah. So I think you can see, at least in the trailer, I don't know how much of that he's acting in, like Adam Sandler. I think he loves basketball, and I thoroughly am convinced that again, he is, I don't know how much he's acting in that. I think he really does love the game of basketball. And so that trailer, when he's going through, he's like, you got to love this game, you know? And so it made me go, sweet, you know, let's, this looks great. So, so yeah, I do think it looks good. I feel like his other forays into dramatic roles have kind of fallen flat because I just didn't buy him as that character, you know, and that's my fault, not his. It's more my fault. It's my it's more my attitude towards him and what I expect from him. So, but in this role, I don't know. I think he may be challenging how I see him with this particular role because of his passion for that sport, and I could buy him in a coaching. Role,
inspirational,
you know, or inspirational type role. So yeah. So I think, and you know, again, it's Netflix, so it's going to have one leg longer than the other, but you know, we'll see. It's hopefully it pans out for him. But I thought it looked pretty good. I definitely will watch it for sure.
Hell yeah. Big time rundown. That was one of our longer rundowns that we've had. So thank you guys for sticking with us. Great insight on everything. We will continue to talk about a lot of those things on this show. So strap in, right? Nerdbox time. We have a question from a good friend of mine, Mike Hodgkinson. He says, a lot of big time directors have come out and blasted superhero movies. Just recently, Francis Ford Coppola came out and said that it's like watching the same thing over and over again. We've seen Steven Spielberg's, you know, trash superhero movies. We've seen Steven Soderbergh say nobody's having sex in these movies, so why should I watch it? that one really caught me off guard. So Mike asks, do you think they have a point?
Clearly
not
didn't
necessarily.
Watch the
Yeah, seriously. Or the Suicide Squad. Or Peacemaker, because there's a lot. He says, do you think they have a point? Meaning, like, are they somewhat right? They don't need to be absolutely right. And which director would you agree with the most? Clearly not Steven Soderbergh, Eric.
I don't agree with any of them. I really don't. You know, I think they're full of their own hot air. You know, I really do. I think they think that maybe only their style of movie making is all that there is, and you know, if you don't fall in line with them, then you know, okay, Martin Scorsese, I'd like to see you make a movie that doesn't revolve around a freaking mob guy. It doesn't have Joe Pesci or Robert De Niro or Leonardo DiCaprio. But you know, how about you take a cast of characters and make not a mob movie, you know, and show me that you can do
even Roland Emmerich along those same lines. He came out and said it's like they're all the same. I'm like, you make nothing but disaster porn,
right? You know, and well, that's the thing. Well, so I think each of those guys has a specialty, and they make those movies. They make those movies well. Like I'm not saying that I don't like Scorsese movies. I'm just saying, you know, if you're living in a glass house, don't throw rocks. You know, like you literally make the same movie and you adjust the cast and maybe, you know, move the pieces around, but it's the same movie over and over again. You know, and not everybody wants to go see a mob movie, or not everybody wants to go see something like that. You know, people like to go see comic book movies because they like to see people fly through the air, and they like to see people do things that nobody else can do, you know, rather than taking, you know, a guy pisses another guy off, and so he puts two in the back of his head and buries him in the desert, you know, like that's like, all right, you know, I don't know. Like
seeing that too, though.
Yeah. I mean,
you like them both. You got to balance.
Right. Yeah. But like there's different strokes for different folks, and you know, not everybody's into that stuff. So I don't know. Get over yourself. And there's room in Hollywood, and there's room at the table. And I think what a lot of it has to do with is a lot of sour grapes, because these guys are pouring, and I get it. Scorsese and all those dudes, they pour their life and their soul and everything they have into these movies, you know, and to try and make them as best as they possibly can. And they do a great job. and their movies don't gross $1 billion, you know, and then they feel like, you know, everybody's on a green screen. You put 5 people in a green screen and silly costumes, and all of a sudden, you know, they're pulling in $1.5 billion, and it's like, well, you know, that's not a real movie. You know, that's a cartoon, you know, and to some extent, you know, I don't think they're wrong.
And?
You know, I think I don't think they're wrong, but it's like comics books. I used to work with this guy. His name was McCat, and he used to tell me, he's like, comic books. He says comic book movies, like, they totally make sense. He goes. I don't know why they don't make more comic movies. He goes, literally, it's. I remember him telling me this. This is back in like the early 2000s, before even Iron Man came out. He goes, it's literally storyboarded out for you. Like, you don't even have to do anything. You just it's the storyboard, and you just make the movie just like that. You know, and I was like, you're right, dude. You're totally right. You know, right. So, but yeah.
I was just going to say that was going to be my take, is it reeks of jealousy. So
yeah. I mean, that I agree, and it's, you know, I mean, define a real movie. Like, you're going to a movie to be entertained. Like, you know, if that's what entertaining is, who cares? Like, and their movies are never going to make as much as, like, you know, I'm not taking Carson to go see The Departed in theater. You know what I mean? Like, I can go see Iron Man with him. You know, it's like, sorry, I can't have him watch like, Joe Pesci.
Earmuffs, blindfold, earmuffs, blindfold.
See Joe Pesci stabbing a dude in a trunk before they bury him. It's like, you know, it's like, sorry.
Hey, man, I'm going to need this knife.
And don't get me wrong, I enjoy those
Bring it back clean.
I love
there are life lessons to be learned, which is dig the hole first. You know, always dig the hole first. Right. Like, that's a good life lesson, okay? You know, because what happens if somebody comes along and now you got to dig another hole, you know, and it just is.
That's right. That's right.
Just a lot of digging.
You know, it's just annoying when they say that. It's like, why be like that?
Yeah, it's a reeks of jealousy. Meg, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you guys basically said it. It's just jealousy. And I have a friend who basically rates whether he's going to see a movie on the amount of action in it. Like, do I need to see this on the big screen or not? And, you know, those mob movies, you don't need to see on the big screen. You just don't. Superhero movies, comic book movies, you want to see on the big screen. You want to experience. I mean, it's an experience. It's not just watching the movie. You want to be fully entertained, and you're only going to get that from the big screen. Yeah. But I mean, I think, it's just jealousy, and there's room for everybody.
And we've talked about it before. You know, I think Darren and I have touched on it before, but seeing a movie in the movie theater with other people, there's an element to it that, you know, especially with those superhero movies or you know, comedy movies and stuff, where you get a whole audience laughing at something together, or a whole audience of people cheering for a particular scene. You know, gosh, it just makes you feel alive, and it makes you feel connected to other people. And I hope that comes back, you know, with the pandemic kind of moving into the different phase and movie theaters kind of filling up more and more. I'm hoping that continues. So
I think the biggest takeaway from all of that, what you just said, is I want to know what Meg's friend's spectrum is from 1 to 10 action. Like, 1 is like, you know, no action, to number 10 is Roadhouse pulling a dude's throat out of his jugular. You know, like,
right.
I want to know what spectrum
Roadhouse.
I think it's more on like a Michael Bay type of scale.
Whoa, that's a lot of.
How many big explosions are in them?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a nerd box question. Maybe you should talk to your buddy and see if he can do a nerd box question about his scale. Yeah. What's your scale of from a scale from Scorsese to Michael Bay? What's your, you know,
your theater worthy number?
you know Michael Bay, he's got a big spectrum. You know that. At least he thinks he does. Good question, Mike. Thanks for sending that in. Yeah. Send in your questions so we can all nerd debate our own nerd debates that we get from you guys submitting these questions that we love to answer. So big rundown. Thanks for joining again, Meg. Awesome job.
Huge.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Were you saying, Meg? What? Martin, did you say huge? Oh, huge rundown. I was like, woo!
Wasn't really anything to put too much thought into.
Yeah, just like huge getting in my head, and then I was like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway,
Zoom call. Yep.
Zoom call.
Catching ours on Zoom calls. Thanks again, Meg. Appreciate you joining. Did a great job. Again, whatever you take to not get podcast brain, can you share with the rest of us? Because you're immune to it so far.
So far. We'll see if there's ever like a trivia thing that comes up.
Yeah, well, Meg is hosting our game in the presents, so stay tuned for the presents. Eric, brother, great to have you back on the rundown.
Yep.
I know you were on presents, but you missed the rundown last week. Always good to get your insights on the latest in the nerd world. And Morgan, you've just been on your game lately, man. I really appreciate the job you're doing.
I try.
With that being said, I'll see you guys next week on the Nerd Rundown.
Deuces.
Bye.
God. Bye.
Sorry, Meg.